some magnetic materials and how we define these different kinds of magnetic materials. Okay, so all materials can be classified. So all materials that you see around you, like literally every single material, can be classified in 3 different categories. So one of them is diamagnetic, the other is paramagnetic, and the third one is ferromagnetic. So what do these different names mean? So these different names or these different categories are formed based on the behavior of that particular material in an external magnetic field. Okay, so for example, if I say that a material is a diamagnetic material, what does that mean? That means the material tends to decrease the applied magnetic field into which it is introduced. So for example, if I have a magnet and this magnet has its own electric field, magnetic field. So if this magnet has its own magnetic field, then anything that comes in the vicinity or in contact with this magnetic field. So if I bring if there is a piece of iron over here, it is not going to have any, nothing's going to happen to it. I mean, there's not going to be any effect of this magnet to this iron. But if I bring this piece of iron within the magnetic field, then it will attract the piece of iron, right? So now any material that if I introduce into the magnetic field, if it decreases the applied magnetic field, then it is a diamagnetic material. Okay, so if it reduces,
means reduces.
Okay, reduces is kind of like an insulator, So if it basically it reduces. So for example, if I introduce something, for example, wood. Okay, let's take wood, water, mercury. You can take any of these things. And if I put a magnet inside wood, or if I put a magnet inside water, it will reduce its magnetic properties. It will not be as strong a magnet as it will be out in the air. For example, if I have a magnet in the air, and if I put that same magnet in water, it will not be as strong a magnet as it is in the air. That is because water is a diamagnetic material. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am, but when it is only in water or in mercury only, at that certain point only will its strength decrease, or for it will be for a permanent?
No, only for that particular point. The moment I take it out from that, if I take it out from water and if I take it out from mercury and I put it back in the air, it will again behave like its normal magnet, the same strength of magnet it will have. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, good question. All right. So examples of diamagnetic material are wood, water, mercury, silver, copper, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen. So carbon dioxide and nitrogen, they are diamagnetic materials. Silver, copper, mercury, they're all diamagnetic materials. Water and wood as well. Okay, so these materials, they reduce the property, or they reduce the, they decrease the applied magnetic field. Okay. Now, paramagnetic material is if a material, when introduced into a magnetic field, increases the applied field slightly. So then such a material is termed as paramagnetic. For example, air, oxygen, tungsten, chromium, and magnesium. So air, oxygen, obviously, tungsten, chromium, and magnesium. So if I have a magnet and if I introduce tungsten, chromium, or magnesium close to that magnet, then the strength of the magnetic field increases. Okay, so these materials are called paramagnetic materials. Now there is a third type.
I have a doubt about the last one. Can you please, that the paramagnetic, if we make it near to tungsten, you have told, right? Then if we make it near to a like tube bulb, like olden times, then will it have the power of? It will have more power. You told, right?
Say that again, if we.
Yeah, if we keep it near and like old type bulbs are there which contains tungsten, and
Oh, okay.
will
Huh.
it have like this paramagnetic effect on it?
Yes, it will. So whenever you introduce tungsten between, for example, let's say I have a piece of magnet here. Okay, there is a magnet over here, and I have a coin over here. Okay, so this coin, there is air between the magnet and the coin, right? So this air is a paramagnetic material. It makes this magnet pull the coin with even more force. Okay, now if instead of air I put tungsten or chromium, then it will have the property of pulling this coin with again even more force. But instead of this, if I put wood or mercury, then what happens? The force reduces. It's just very slight attraction.
Is it the same for when we put it like I have achieved for the water? For that moment only it will happen.
Yes, only for that moment. Same thing, paramagnetic material. Because what happens once I remove it from the water, then what is the material between the magnet and the coin?
Air.
Air, exactly. And air is a?
Air is and like it does not conduct anything.
No, air is a what kind of material?
Air is an non-magnetic, right?
No, air is paramagnetic material. That means it increases the applied field slightly. Okay, so what is induced magnetism? We've done this also. So magnetism, or the property of magnetism acquired by a magnetic material when it is kept near or in contact with a magnet, is called as induced magnetism. Now, a magnetic pole induces an opposite polarity on the near end. What does that mean? For example, if I have a piece of iron, now on this piece of iron, I am rubbing a magnet which has a north pole. All right. So if I rub a north pole in this particular direction, then the magnetic pole induces an opposite polarity near the end and a similar polarity on the far end of the iron bar. For example, if I am rubbing magnet in this direction, then the south pole will be formed here and the north pole will be formed here. So whichever is in direction, it is like whichever. So I'm using the north pole to rub on the iron, right? So the north pole creates the south pole because that is how it will come in contact, right? Unlike poles attract each other. So if I'm using the north pole to rub on this piece of iron, then south pole is created on the end where I'm ending, and on the other side north pole is created. Does that make sense to you guys?
No, ma'am, I didn't understand about making north and south on you have given there, right? I didn't understand induced magnetism actually.
All right. So what I'm saying is, let's say I have a piece of iron. In the single touch method, what did we do? In the single touch method, we took the magnet, we took one end of the magnet, either the north pole or the south pole, doesn't matter. So if I take the north pole, for example, and I rub it on top of this piece of iron several times, some 30 to 40 times I rub it. Okay. And I rub it in this particular direction. Okay. Then this iron also becomes a magnet. Okay. So how do you decide what is the north pole and south pole of this magnet?
That with another magnet we can check if it is repelling, and if it is repelling we can tell like if it repel with north pole then it is a north side.
But you are already using a magnet, right? Why do you need another magnet? You are already using a magnet to induce the magnetic property in this piece of iron. Why do you need another magnet? You have a magnet already.
Yeah, with that magnet, because I don't have an answer.
Okay. So what happens is whichever side you are using to rub, right? That side will create the opposite pole. For example, if this is the North Pole, if I'm using the North Pole of the magnet to rub on the piece of iron, it will create the North Pole. Sorry, it will create the opposite side. It will create the South Pole. If it created the same North Pole, then these two pieces will repel each other. The iron will go away from the magnet. So it creates a South Pole. That is why it will stay in contact, it will stay in touch, and it will not repel it. Does that make sense now?
Yeah, ma'am, but I would like to know why it makes South Pole instead of North Pole.
It makes South Pole instead of North Pole because that is the property of a magnet. Like, it always attracts the opposite polarity. It will never attract the same polarity. A magnetic pole always induces the opposite polarity. That is just how magnets are.
So that's why it's so.
Ma'am, can you please explain ferro? What do they mean in ferromagnetic material external field?
External field is nothing but magnetic field. Magnetic field will be external field, right? Magnetic field will be outside the magnet, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's external to the magnet. External means outside. So when I say external field, it means external magnetic field. So materials, yes.
Ma'am, can you wait on the slide for 1 second? I just wanted to note down one thing.
Yeah, ma'am, I would like to know the last sentence. The magnetism acquired by induction is purely temporary. What does it mean?
Meaning, whenever I induce magnetism in something, okay? Whenever I induce, do you know what is the meaning of induce?
Like giving it something inside or.
Very good. Yes. So whenever I induce magnetic magnetism or magnetic property in something, then that induction is temporary. It will not make it a permanent magnet.